living proof. It's pretty safe to say. God give it, God take it away. It's the worldwide American way. I'm living proof.
What's going on, team? Proof here. And today I'm joined with a very special guest. He won BCS London. I'd like to give a big shout out to my boy Cyrille, Bonneau. And I know I struggle with that a lot because I'm awful with French. But you can say hello to the people.
Hello, and hi, Proof.
How's it going?
Fine, and you?
Good. I want to thank you so much for joining me because I know it's midnight for you over in France. That's because we have like a 6.5 hour difference or something like that.
Yep.
So much appreciated for you joining us today, or joining me, I should say, because it's just me and you talking.
Well, honestly, it's a pleasure to talk about the deck now that the list is out.
Up here winning championships and whatnot, doing things that few of us other Spike players couldn't accomplish. But if you guys haven't heard, as I mentioned, he won the BCS London with his take on Bad End, which features the double brake ride with the double force. Sorry if it gets a little bit staticky around here. We're trying to communicate over the ocean. And his deck, as I said, features the double brake ride sequence, which when you on Bad End and you go into Good End, if you have a full field set up, you can't call a card with Good End, which means you need to ride your 2 Vanguards as rest. And ideally, you're going to be putting out both Force Vanguards on your circle, and then you can just beat your opponent over the head with a lot of power behind it.
That's exactly what it does. And also, I have the strength of the usual Spike Stride to deal with situations where I can't go into Good End.
Right, exactly.
So it was very useful in the finals, for example.
And as I saw you put on Twitter, you named your deck Bobo's Bizarre Adventure, which is amazing.
Yeah, I named the deck before the tournament, and when I got to use Bobo for my final turn in the finals, it just fits so perfectly.
And I remember it was kind of a little off the wall suggestion when we were talking about it in the Discord chat, and I was like, why not? Because we knew that Geese was going to be out there trying to hold people down, and we saw it had success with the No Life King decks in Japan and overseas, so we figured may as well give it a shot and see how it goes.
Yep. That's when that's you guys who told me about it. At first, I was thinking that it was a nice joke. Then you said, why not? And I thought for a second and realized all the uses it could have. Like the basic Good End combo requires 2 Counterblast to be the most effective with some Spike Bouncers. So Bobo provides those 2 Counterblast on his own. Yeah,
because you get a counter charge with it, and you do your Vanguard damage, which is effectively a counter charge too, which is just what we need for Bad End to go off. So everything else is pretty much standard outside of a couple of techs here and there. And big shout outs for using the Bobo, because I know that card's gonna be like maybe like $1 or $2 now, because everybody's trying to find their own play sets of it now. But we can go ahead and start talking about some of your matchups here. So how many rounds was it in Swiss before Top Cut?
So in Swiss there are 8 rounds. And I faced a lot of different decks actually. The first match was versus Coral. So Bermuda Triangle.
Bermuda Triangle? Oh, was it the Superior Ride deck?
No, the Coral one.
Oh, Coral, okay.
You know, yeah. The other right chain. And I was off to a bad start because I had my rides, but aside from that, it was a full trigger hand, so I even missed 1 strike turn. But I had 3 G-Guardians, 1 Perfect Guard, so I managed to hold the turn and finish the fight on Picaro.
Oh, you won with Picaro? Now, when you use Picaro, do you try to set up kind of like a double break ride kind of field, or is it trying to just put maximum power on the board?
Oh no, it's completely different. I was on bad end, so I didn't even have a gift marker.
Okay.
And I just put one juggernaut on the front. The other circle was a bracky because I didn't have my second available.
Mm-hmm.
And in the back row there were two mecha instructors and one analyzer. So I just went for my Picaro attack and then for 5 rear guard attacks, including like 3 or 4 juggernauts.
So you did like, you attack with the juggernaut side, you resolve instructor, attack with the juggernaut side, attack with the bracky side, resolve instructor to bounce the juggernaut and call it back, or did you bounce the bracky and call it back?
No, juggernaut.
Okay.
Because the coral was already on 13k base.
Okay.
So I bounced bracky with an analyzer to give it another 3k boost.
Oh, I got you. Smart man. So that was really good. Did having 2 juggernauts ever hurt you? Because I know when I was testing out the deck, I went 3 and 3 with Safe Read and Juggernaut.
It only hurt me once because it was a very particular game where I didn't have any more grade 3s in my deck, so even for my good end sequence, I only could double ride another 2 bad ends.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, no, 2 is more than enough because if necessary, I have BCS to send one back to the deck. And it's only really important for Picaro. Aside for the good end turn, I already get a plus 30k boost on minimum basis, so it's not necessary for that.
Okay. And I forgot to mention this at the start of it, but I was wondering what made you choose to go with the good end, bad end deck over the deck that I use more often, which was the standard deck with the strides mixed into it.
Well, I guess I'm just more of a combo guy, so I already loved the instructors, mm-hmm. and I liked what you could do with bad end, the explosive power it had.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to see if it could work, and when I saw during playtesting that it was perfectly fine, I just went all the way with it.
Nice. That's what's up. I like that even though Standard has come out, there's still ways that people can play their preferred version of spikes. Like whether you want to go with the OTK, like if you missed the old Hellheart 8 sequence, you can make it up with the good end plus the 4 circles, which is really nice. Or you can just go straight beats like I like to do.
Yep. And also there's one big advantage I think this deck has over the regular version.
Mm-hmm.
It's that good end provides like some say an oh shit button. So if things go very wrong, you can still steal the game with good end. That's what happened in top 8 as well, but we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, that's very true, because it did have like a weird sense of feeling safe when I play tested it. Like even if you were down, like if you're at 5 and they're at 2, you just knew you had good end just to turn the tide and OTK them back.
That's right.
Now, people are probably looking at the deck here as we're talking and wondering what this one Silence Joker is doing there. And I'm honestly curious too. It's
completely for mind games because I almost never check it, but it's not needed. If you check it, it's free damage, so cool. But if you don't, and they see it during damage checks or things like that, they will fear more critical triggers.
Okay.
If they don't see it all game, they might think you don't play any, so they will let the Vanguard through.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise, it's just a bonus. 15k shield, and you can even put it back with Gias if you feel like it.
That's smart. Now, did you ever miss the 8th draw trigger at all?
No.
Okay.
Honestly,
I did
7 pros is already more than enough, and I only really need 1 instructor in hand. So no, it was nice.
Nice. So first round was Coral. What was your second round opponent? Well, I'm sorry. Did you end up winning that game? Correct.
Oh yes, I won.
Okay.
I won. I only lost one game during the Swiss rounds, and it was versus OTTG.
Okay. And what was your round 2 opponent?
It was a Royal Paladin playing Think Saver. So I think he reached top 8, but I don't remember if it was the same person.
Interesting. Thing Saver with force markers just to try to get the restanding off, I'm guessing?
I suppose, but he didn't get to Lydian, so I'm not sure what the game plan was exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I just went, I think I went to Gooden for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was Gooden. So the game ended on first try.
Okay. Now, do you play the deck, well, similar to how I played it, which is your first two Vanguard rides, which is ride and attack, and then when you get to your grade 3, you kind of see where you're at and gauge the rest of your game from there?
Usually yes, but I also try to put my opponent on 2 damages at least.
Yeah.
3 if possible.
Oh yeah, of
because
course.
on 2 they can be killed on good end, and 3 is basically the safe zone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the kill is almost assured.
So you would do what you could to gather your pieces, but then try to get them to at least 2 damage before you felt ready to go into good end.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Also, that's where Bobo is nice, because then you can use a Spike Bouncer during the ride grade 2,
mm-hmm.
and not fear that you will lag the counter blast later.
That's true.
That sort of thing happened, especially versus Gize.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very nice option to have.
Bobo, the low-key MVP. So you destroyed a Royal Paladin player before they could get their combo off. How was your third round game?
This one doesn't really count, because my opponent was another Royal Paladin, Blaster one,
mm-hmm.
but he missed his key assist on grade 2. So when he finally reached grade 2, I could stride and I killed him with Agrias.
Those
tough one for him.
Kind of a freebie there. That's unfortunate though, but that's kind of the road you take in a best of 1. You gotta kind of give the good luck and take what you can get from that.
Pretty much.
So how are you feeling at this point? You feeling comfortable? Feeling a little nervous that you're feeling?
Seriously, I've been nervous since the Friday before that. So yeah, I was glad I won the first 3 rounds, but still very nervous.
That's fair. I definitely can relate to that. So round 4, what'd you go up against?
This was the OTTGs I lost to. The thing is, I dealt 2 damages early on, but then he healed. So by the time I was going on good end, he was on 1 damage with like 11 cards in hand. But I had no choice but to try it, because next turn was Gize, so I knew at this point I knew I had lost, but well.
Why not? You never know. You could have got there with rolling mecha instructors or what have you. Yeah.
Well, I was hoping for maybe calling another instructor or analyzer with my bouncers and hero. No. It was a bit much to ask here.
It's such a good feeling though when you're playing the deck and you're just trying to go for the win, and you resolve Spike Bouncer, you check top 3, you call an instructor, you charge it if you want to, you attack with the instructor, it goes back, you bounce the Spike Bouncer, call it back out, get another free attack off. I remember I did that, or you roll Gyro Slinger, just shuffle through like your entire deck and just see what you got.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing that is very nice about the combo, because you have at the very least 2 activations of Bouncer and Hero, and maybe more. So you have to get another attack extender at some point.
Yeah.
You're digging like 10 cards deep, so
You're going to find something. So you had to take an unfortunate L to Geese, which happens to the best of us. Round 5, going in there 3-1. A little more nervous?
Well, yes, because I knew I couldn't afford to lose anymore. And the next one was versus Zodiac Time Beast.
Okay.
So they had no V trigger, and well, all they could do was send my units back to the deck, which is fine by me.
Right, because you get the power anyway.
Yeah, so I was I was still nervous, but still quite comfortable with this.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I got the first ride, so I went for C3 immediately. And I think they didn't know well enough my cards because I announced the Ganon on hit, the Cypher on hit, but he took the Cypher. So I basically emptied his hand and brought him to, I don't remember, but maybe 3 or 4 by my first ride. He managed to come back and get a 7 cards hand, but my Agrias next turn finished him.
Mm-hmm. So that was a game you didn't even need bad end, good end to take somebody out.
No. In the end, on that day, I must have used good end 4 or 5 times, so a bit less than half my matches.
That's still pretty good. About 50% of the time you had your primary combo ready to go, minus the Geese player, just because that was a Hail Mary, hope for the best type of thing.
Well, Geese is pretty straightforward when you think about it, because as long as they don't get damage triggers, you can keep attacking.
Exactly. Just hit them, get them to 2 or 3, get a couple Bobos in hand, get a damage or 2 in there, and swing for the fences.
Elsa is important too.
True. Very important. Did you ever, I'm sure we might get to it, but did you ever do, which is one of my favorite things, where when you go first, you ride a Force Vanguard, and then on your next turn when you can stride, you ride bad end and then stride?
Actually, almost all the time, because, I don't play the first try game, so and also my dice just pulled on me, so I was always going first.
It must be nice.
I usually go for Secret first and then bad end, because, sometimes you just like a combo piece, so it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes your attack stronger for later.
And then you get the nice handy 2 force markers on one side, 1 on the other, which just that extra 10,000 power comes in so much. Comes in handy so much.
Split up, actually.
Yeah, the split them.
Yep.
I agree. I like to split them because I like having everything be plus 30k across the board since we're sharing the circles so often with the attackers.
Yeah, that's the thing. You always fill both your front rows with Bouncer and Hero, so there's no reason to make one column stronger than the other.
Yeah, because Bouncer with the 4 circles, 40,000 on his own. 40,000 is a really solid number in the meta against everything, really.
And also it's important because if they get damage triggers, which we'll see in the next match, you need both your columns to still be able to hit.
Exactly. I agree there, 100%. So where does this put us? This puts us at round 6, if my count is correct.
Yes, and that's Tsukuyomi.
Tsukuyomi, whoa.
I didn't expect to meet that here, but yes. And actually this match is very interesting because, he had his stack, and he finished stacking his cards exactly by the time I could set bad end off.
Mm-hmm.
And, he was on 3, thankfully, but he managed to arrange for 1 draw damage trigger and 1 heal, but since I was on 5, he couldn't heal, but still that gave him plus 20k to defend. And that's where the split markers were very useful, because I had exactly enough power to finish him off. Also calling 1 instructor through my bounce skull.
Nice. That's really good. That's really scary though. Have a Tsukiyomi turbo through their deck that way, and then have the stack ready to go in a favorable formation. But good job getting through it though, because I can imagine that was scary. Just seeing the triggers pop off that way.
Oh yes. I thought I had some time left, but when I saw he just no guarded my attacks, I understood we had reached a stack.
It's like, oh no, he's there.
Well, remember the oh shit button?
When in doubt, just power out with good in. Good things will happen.
Yeah.
So that was round 6, and you're...
Yep.
Now take me through, like, little detour here, like getting lunch or something. Like, how is your food situation going?
Oh, I had some Maltesers to get sugar all day, and well, I think it was the Zodiac time list. It went so fast I had time to go buy some food next door.
Nice. Definitely go get yourself some food if you're in a Bushiroad tournament, because they go long and there's no break in between there.
Yeah, getting tired by the end of the day was my biggest fear.
That's what happened to me when I made it to my top 8. I just didn't have another meal by that time, so I was already starting to fade by the time. I should have went and got food during deck check and whatnot, but I was like, I need something. I'm dying. But
yeah,
this isn't about
it
me.
happened to me once too, so that's why I was cautious this time.
You said you passed out from hunger before?
No, not passed out.
Okay.
But I did lose my focus because I was too tired at the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah, like you definitely want to just eat something. You don't want to lose that focus and lose a match because you made some crazy mistake that you wouldn't normally make.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're in round 7, right?
Yep.
Getting close to the top cut. You know, the end is in sight for the Swiss rounds.
Yes, and this one it was against a friend of mine called Ilya, and he came today with on that day with blasters, but his was a bit an interesting build because he used that rule that a Royal Paladin deck can have 4 Blaster Dark in it.
Oh, okay.
So he used the new Trial Blaster Dark.
Get the nice twin drive going early.
Yes, and especially the on-right skill, because it allowed him to get rid of foreigners and stuff like that.
Oh, that's right, because you pick and choose one instead of targeting front row like Blaster Blade. That's right.
Yeah. So, and the funny thing is that we had played each other several times the day before, so we knew exactly what was going to happen, and we were both very nervous.
So, knowing what your friend was playing, did you keep Analyzer and Soul, or did you pull it out, and then if he had the Blaster Dark, that's fine, but if not, you got the advantage out of it?
I pulled it out because at worst it was one wasted counterblast for him, and one less Flogal for me to worry about.
Smart. I agree with that play. I definitely agree with that. So how the game progressed? Did he ride Blaster Dark on time?
I think he did, yes, but it wasn't too bad for me because since we were both scared of each other, on his turn, since I had put some pressure with Siegfried first, he was worried that I might be able to go off on my next turn, so he didn't dare push too much since I was still at like 2 damages, I think. And it was lucky for me because then it was a lot less pressure on me. And I was able to get bad end off the next turn. But there was a little trick. I didn't have any more gift Great Phrase in hand in my deck because I had drawn them or they had went to damage. And so I had to double Black Ride normally with 2 bad ends. But, well.
It's fun to say it's fun to say how that feels bad now.
But it was bad on the moment, but well, it was Warrior Pad in not Oracle Think Tank. So as far as his hand was concerned, it was much less fearsome, and I managed to clinch the game with this.
Nice. That's awesome.
But yeah, if he had gone for he had Laos in hand, I think. So if he had tried to just call the flow guards, he didn't get many triggers, but he might have forced me to guard more, and maybe I wouldn't have been able to use my combo. So it was, I think the main game, not the main game, the psychological factor of each other knowing our decks was very important here.
Yeah. You had the mental edge on your opponent because you had the more explosive combo.
Yeah, and mine is easier to pull out because I don't rely on my drive checks. He really needs to check at least one critical trigger for Blasted Blade to be really strong in this situation because I don't have many damages.
Man, that's awesome. I love that. This man coming through. I love how sometimes your opponent knows you have bad end and they see it, and then they play a big game of chicken with you, and you still do what you need to do, and all they do is just give you more time and more breathing room to get your combo off. That's the scary balancing game you need to play when you're playing against bad end, is knowing when and when not to push to make them use up their combo pieces. And
exactly.
you had the secrecy factor going into because in terms of spike decks, bad end wasn't really on the radar for anybody. And I'm all about taking advantage of the secrecy factor there.
Actually, there were, 3 people that I faced that knew about it. So, Ilya, because I faced him the day before. I faced another spike player in top 8, so when he saw my starter and the Elsa I rode, he understood what was going to happen. And the final one was the final match versus Redria, who also is on the Discord, so he knew exactly what I was playing.
I let the cat out of the bag there when I play tested against him. We'll get there. We'll cross that bridge in a little bit. So we made it through 7 rounds. You just took out your friendly fire. You monster. And now we're in round 8. What you go up against?
OTTGs again.
Okay.
That match was very nerve-wracking because I had to chassis twice.
Oh no.
Once on grade 1 and once on grade 3.
Oh wow.
Both succeeded, but I still took out 2 draws and 2 perfect guards. But on his side, he didn't get many triggers, so in the end I was able to make a comeback and pull it off with good end.
Wow. That's a interesting way of balancing right there. You have to pitch 4 cards, but you still survive because he can't get his main combo off.
Yep. That was very lucky of me.
Man, that's the way it goes with Geese sometimes. That sometimes they'll roll you out the game like full stop, and then sometimes they see one trigger by the time you get to grade 3, and your game is just coasting from there.
Yep. Pretty much what happened.
So, how'd you feel after this game, knowing 7-1 was going to get you in there?
Very relieved because, the first part of the day was over, and I was confident that I would make it to top 8. Still a bit tensed because I wasn't sure what I was going to face.
Right.
The main goal was first place, so of course, until at least the second round, I was going to be very nervous.
Was there any particular matchup you were fearing coming A, into the tournament, or B, as you got into top 8?
Link Joker, because, all of their G-Guardians lock the back row, so they can just shut off the good end combo. I saw one Messiah deck running around, but I didn't see any other Link Joker that day, so
that's good.
I say that was a lot of a huge weight of my mind.
It's scary because they can just lurk like anywhere within like the higher tables because it's still a pretty good deck, but you just don't want to run into it because you know you're going to just have such a horrible time against it. There was a... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I saw what kind of decks were on the top tables, so I knew more or less that I shouldn't face a Link Joker deck.
So beyond Link Joker, was it just a Geese deck high rolling you was your biggest worry?
I wasn't too scared of Geese because as long as I can prepare the combo correctly and not like during the Swiss round, I can pull it off rather easily.
Okay.
But well, maybe the Kagero matchup because the Griffins are still very annoying. Aside from that, I didn't have to play around a lot of things, so my approach was remained the same.
Okay, I can respect that. So you made it through Swiss, you made it through deck check, and now, as you said before, your first round in top 8 was against a fellow Spike user.
Yep. This is another game that was very tensed for me because I had too many Great Freed in hand, so I couldn't guard his attack.
Okay.
He just rushed me, so on grade 2 I should have taken 3 damages, but I got a lucky here.
Okay.
On grade 3, well, at this point I knew I was going to have trouble guarding, so that's something I want to point out. Spike down first year, I got a Juggernaut, so I just decided instead of targeting the rears, I went full face because I had almost all my combo pieces in hand, so I wanted to be able to crunch it with good end if I was lucky enough. And I dealt him three damages at this point instead of just going for the rears. On his great return, he decided to take care of that Juggernaut, which allowed me to survive. Well, his C3 hit, so he took out my analyzer, which was very annoying for me.
Yeah.
But I knew he would do that, but I couldn't guard it. But on the next turn, I top decked my Spike Bouncer, another one, so I was able to refill my field and get the combo off. So at this point, I started the turn announcing that I might be able to steal it. I wasn't very confident in it.
Yeah, it's always spooky going up against a fellow, kind of a mirror match there, because you know what the deck's capable of. Yeah. And B, when your deck is just not giving you what you need on time, it makes you very, very wary of what's going to happen.
But because I didn't see any instructors before, almost, I had one in hand, but the other 3 were in the deck. And I also had my second analyzer in the deck. So I was more or less confident that I could pull something off. Also, I had put him on free, so I knew he wasn't going to be able to let too many attacks through.
Right.
And, well, I did get to hit one instructor, so that pretty much settled the game.
Easy free attacks coming off.
Yep.
How if you remember, how much damage did you have when you went for your good end turn?
Oh, 5. No, he really could have taken me out before.
Gotcha.
But thankfully, Juggernaut was the good...
nice little damage soaker. He was a nice little 10k, 15k shield on the side for you. Everybody's afraid of the Juggernaut because just what he's able to do for you. Just the power. People are afraid to flex. That's what it is. So you survive going up against the Spike Brothers player. A little bit of friendly fire. Hurt my heart when I heard about that.
Yeah, that was a sad one. We could have faced each other in finals.
Right? It would have been a match for the ages. That would have been so hype.
Yeah.
So we make it into top 4, and what you go up against here?
Ishkishitan. But, Mohammed's version. So it was with Susano.
Okay. Playing
And,
Susano OTT?
yeah.
Wow.
But the thing is, I knew Ishkishitan was going to be annoying later on, so I just, since this wasn't a Giza deck, I just went full face from the beginning. So on my great free turn, he was already on 5 damages.
Wow.
And I just clinched it the next turn with an Agrias combo with like 7 attacks or more.
Was that your main strategy against Ichitam non-Geese, was just forget your combo pieces?
No, it's just something else that they can do. If I'm on bad end, then I go for the combo, but otherwise it still has the normal standard plus trade punches.
It's true. It's like a nice little 2-in-1 Swiss Army deck.
Also, I was able to G-guard on his first trade, so I had a full powered Agrias, and he was able to set me up. I think it was 2 brackies and 2 instructors on the side.
Wow.
And my starter analyzer behind the Vanguard. So it was really a huge turn.
Yeah. Holy crap. I like the way you can just restand both your rear guards with a nice little instructor analyzer combo mix right there.
Yep.
One on force and one gets plus 3k. So you make your own juggernaut. I can respect that. So, you've made it. You've conquered the gambit of making it to the finals, and now you're finally here, going against another member of my Discord in Rydria.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
He
secrets.
had heard that I was playing bad end, so he wanted to confirm if I was Jashidos from the Discord. So I realized, oh, nice, Rydria. Oh shit, you know what I'm playing.
The Discord giveth and the Discord taketh away. and
actually, that was one of my best fights this day, because since he knew what was going to happen, he played around my bad end as much as he could.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I had one Ganon of the field almost all game, and he just wouldn't let it through. Even when I went for a first ride Agrias, instead of restanding 2 front rows, I went for a full column with Giro boosted by Ganon, and he let most attacks through, but not this one. And it's something that actually mattered, because the next turn, one of my damages was Elsa, so if it had let it through, I would have drawn into the Elsa that was the only lacking pieces of my combo. And, the game would have been over sooner.
From my experience playing against Rai for testing purposes, he will always aggressively guard a Ganon boosted column.
So it was your fault.
It was all my fault. I apologize. I didn't prepare you accordingly. Oh snap! How did your final turn come together again?
I think what's important is also the turn before that, because I had only 1 counterblast free. So instead of going for a second Agrias, with all the cards I had in hand, I didn't have enough attackers. So I went for Supernova and used my Spike Bouncer to fill a bit my field. And I also had 1 instructor in hand, so I was able already on this turn to set off some combo with instructor charged through Supernova and analyzer activating to restand another one. I also had 2 gift force at this point, split between my 2 columns. So it was already a huge turn, and he was on 5 damages by the end of my turn.
Wow.
But it still had only 3 triggers activated. So, like I said earlier, as long as it doesn't get triggers, I keep attacking.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought it into 5, despite him guarding a few attacks. So that's what set the game for my final turn, which was the next one, Picaro turn. I could have gone for Hellhard 8 at this point if he had let me use my G-Guardian, but of course it's Oracle Think Tank, so he's got Ishkishima.
Mm-hmm.
And well, at this point I only had 1 damage, and it was face down already. But I had my Bobo in hand that I had kept for my good end turn. So instead I just placed it on the field to get the 2 counterblasts needed for Picaro. And I filled my field with Instructor, my second Analyzer, and Juggernaut. So this was a turn he couldn't tank because he had just not enough cards in hand.
Now, was this a 3-call Picaro, 4, or was it a full field?
3 call.
3 call?
Because I still had my Ganon at this point, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was a Gyro, but I had something in my, boosting in my red column. And on my left I had Spike Bouncer, but, to make some space I just called Bobo on top of it. So I was able to call, all the pieces needed to increase my attacks, as much as I could.
Nice. And then you just claimed the game right there.
Yep. And that's why the name of the deck is just so nice, because Bobo is really the MVP of this game.
The namesake actually helped clinch you the win. That is nice and poetic right there. Man, so huge congratulations to you for claiming the W in London, representing the Spike Kin. And shout outs to Rai for coming in second place, because he's going to make the trip to Japan as well. That's what he's been telling us.
Yep. Well, he's saving for it at least.
Yeah.
So I hope I see him there.
Hopefully he can find somebody to help him out, maybe like a local shop or something, gives him some assistance there. That'd be really nice. Just get as many people from the Discord in Japan as we can. It'd be weird thought. What if I just gave you guys some Proof Core t-shirts or something? I wouldn't make you guys wear it.
Honestly, I'd wear that.
Okay. Just throwing it out there. We'll see how Rai feels about that in the future. The key is getting over to France.
Or if you come to Japan, you can give it to me in person.
I have to qualify. Don't remind me.
Nah, we trust you.
Man. But thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for joining me at midnight in France time.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about my deck.
Oh yeah, of course. This was all your brainchild. I just helped out a little bit here and there, and you did. Yeah, like when I asked you to tell me that I shouldn't play Hitmaker. Yeah, get that crazy Hivemaker tech out of your deck.
Honestly, there are some times where I wish I could have had him in the deck, but I just needed everything else.
Yeah, you had to get the consistency first, and then see you had to make the text for the MVP Bobo. That's what the key was.
Yeah.
Did you want to give any shout outs to anybody before we close up the interview?
Shout outs. Well, yeah, to all my friends that were with me in London. It was really nice, and I really loved doing the tournament with them. It was lots of fun. To Redrial, of course, who was one of my best matches, because it was very interesting to face someone who knew exactly what to do to annoy me. And well, just one to my girlfriend.
Aw, I respect that. Shout outs to Jackie Dill's girlfriend. Hope she can, hope she listens. Hope she listens. You can, does she know English well? If you want to say something in French, go ahead.
Yeah, in French, coucou Julie, je t'aime. And, in English, well, she'll understand the rest of the video.
That's awesome, man.
You know, it's the first time I actually get to do that, so I need to make the most out of it.
You know what? I can't even be mad about that. I respect that. But thank you once again, Cyrille, for joining me. Shout out to you for bringing home the W. Much congratulations. And yeah, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Well, to anyone who's wondering about if it's worth in premium to play in premium, come with Spike. You'll have your answer.
I will say definitely bring Spikes to the tournament if you're coming in with premium. You have two very strong options with the standard plus deck that I like to rep. You also have a really strong option with the bad end, good end, aka force in, dragger as I like to call it, that Cyrille here played. And if you don't like either one of these, I definitely recommend exploring the other option that Spikes have, because there's plenty of good options out there for you.
Also, while I think about it, Spike give, expect that.
No. No. That was a meme that I threw up there one time. I wanted to make it work because I wanted to pitch, I wanted to G assist out the G zone or the bind zone so I can just call things out with Agrius later. But now they changed the rules on me. They changed the G assist rules on me. I can't live that dream anymore. But now you get to abuse the nice Agrius things that come with it. So look out, France, because I think Cyrille here is coming with some spiciness next time.
Honestly, if I can make it work by November, I will take it to Nancy.
You got a month to make me proud. I think you're fully capable of trying to find a way to make it work, and I will help as much as I can along the way.
Thanks.
I want to see it happen. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this interview. Major shout outs again to Cyrille for winning, for representing for the Spike Kin, the Spike brothers, just doing this thing. And yeah, that'll do it for us. And until next time, peace. Be easy.
See you.